This is the Daily Dose for Tuesday, as we are joined now by Sportsnet's Nick Alberga to take a look at the Vegas and Montreal series. Nick, one game in the books. Vegas' defense, they were spectacular. Stout on the defensive end, and they chipped in 3 goals on the offensive end. What adjustments does Montreal need to make ahead of Game 2 on Wednesday?
Yeah, pretty damn good if you ask me, Jesse, so far. 3 goal scores in Game 1 from the Vegas Golden Knights on the back end. When Nick Holden's scoring goals, you know when you're in a good place. But you can't look past the Petrie loss for the Montreal Canadiens to begin. They hope that he can come back for Game 2. But I find Vegas is really pressing the blue line. So I think that's the biggest thing I could take away looking forward into Game 2 is Montreal trying to beat that zone a bit quicker and getting that puck possession back. Because let's not forget, first 10 to 15 minutes of that game, we were seeing the Montreal style that we saw them have success earlier on here in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Vegas certainly in a good spot after Game 1. In a good spot as a franchise, I'd say. But do they deserve to be there? Lots of discussion online, including your Twitter feed, Nick, about whether Vegas, by way of the expansion draft and what have you, deserve to be in the place they are in. What do you say?
Yeah, my timeline is just like that dumpster fire gif. It just never goes away. So
that's mine too. Yeah, no.
Exactly. I think when you look at Vegas specifically, I think this team deserves a lot of credit. I mean, they were handed the keys to the car by the NHL and the rules at that, but still what they've put forth, and you look at their initial roster and it's easy to forget things. But 4 years ago, we looked at that roster and said, this team is going to be all-time bad. You flash forward to that season, they were tremendous, got the most out of that roster, went to the Stanley Cup final. And now we're in year 4 and they've won, a bunch of 34 Stanley Cup playoff games. Just think about that. This team is just the epitome of success. I think they deserve all the credit in the world, and they parlayed some of those assets to get other players. And you look at that roster, Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty, the big 2 names. Shea Theodore was also involved in the expansion process. Their big boys came from outside the organization.
Yeah, I was certainly one of those who thought that Vegas roster in year 1 wasn't good. So that's egg on my face. Now, turning our attention to Montreal, of course, a really tough atmosphere to go into for Game 1, but that's out of the way. Ben Sherratt said Shea Weber delivered the right message after that Game 1 loss. What do you think that message was to Montreal?
Well, pretty much just keep playing your game. You look at the Vegas Golden Knights, our perfect example. It's simple to forget back in Game 1, they were absolutely torched by the Colorado Avalanche, and the season was over, and we were giving Colorado the cup. When you move forward, they string off consecutive victories and 4 in a row, and it's over for Colorado. So I think if you're the leadership core there, you just say, it's one game. I understand we got a bit blitzed there in the second period into the third period, but I think you stick with the game plan. And certainly we've seen Montreal have success when scoring early and scoring quickly. And I think the first goal, I know it's a cliche to bring up, but I think it's of vast importance for Montreal to settle into their system a bit, because they were caught chasing something we haven't seen from this team in a while, right?
Yeah, I can't wait for Game 2 on Wednesday. Nick, your Twitter feed is a busy place. We can hear you on the Sportsnet Radio Network and all over sportsnet.ca as well. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.